So let's go. We will now kick off this Future Leaders Competition presentations with our first Future Leaders candidate from Turkey. But before we get there, you should know a few in-house rules. It is important that you keep your microphones on mute if you're not speaking. And if you have any questions related to the speaker's presentation or project, you should ask them in the chat while they present, and afterwards he or she will select one question that is the most relevant that he will answer orally, verbally. All the other questions will, of course, be answered via the chat. So you should also know that everyone will be presenting on a random basis. And as Rita has mentioned, the winner will be announced at the end of the EFCA week. So I leave the floor to our very first speaker, Mustafa Kemal Türkeri from Turkey, who will present the drought management plans of Antalya and Burdur basins.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
If I can share the screen.
Yes, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Can you see it right now?
Yeah, we can see.
We can see.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mustafa Kemal Türkeri. I'm a civil engineer from Dostlar Engineering, Turkey. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to be selected as one of the best projects in the Future Leaders Competition. So I will give some brief information regarding Antalya and Burdur Basins Drought Management Plans project, and then I will explain my roles and responsibilities in this project. So I'm 31 years old. I've been working in Dostlar Engineering since 2013 as a climate change and drought expert and project coordinator and project engineer. So Antalya and Burdur Basins are located in the south of Turkey. The basins has a total area of 26,000 kilometers squares. So the project started in 2016 and completed in 2018. So the project steps comprises of calculation of drought indices, indicators, and threshold values, determination of the basin water potential, and expected changes in the water potential due to the climate change impacts. So the sectoral vulnerability analysis and development of a basin drought database. So an action plan and the determination of the measures to be taken to mitigate the impacts of drought and water scarcity, and finally the drought management plan itself for both basins. So the most important outcome of the project is the action plan for mitigating the drought and climate change impacts. So I would like to give one example about that. Burdur Basin has a lot of lakes in this basin area. So Lake Salda is also one of them, as you can see in this picture. So Lake Salda nowadays is very important because of the similarities with the equator in Mars, Jezero crater. So the rover Perseverance of NASA is also designed to endure the soil conditions of Lake Salda in Mars. So as you can see in this picture. So unfortunately, all of the lakes in Burdur are drying because of the excessive water use and the drought impacts. The only solution to conserve those lakes is to ensure the sustainable use of water. And the very first step which leads to sustainable water use is the drought risk management, which is achieved for Antalya and Burdur basins. So the drought risk management by itself to determination of the resilience of the impacts of drought and the climate change, determination of the vulnerability aspects of different sectors such as tourism, agriculture, drinking water, etc., and use modern and innovative solutions to ensure the sustainable water use. My roles and responsibilities in this project were, I worked as a team leader of the project. I was the main contact person, and with the client and the other stakeholders of the project, I coordinated the project team and coordinated and instructed one-week training program also, and I ensured the on-time and successful delivery of the project documents, despite the project is relatively limited delivery schedule, and also for the entire project duration, I was successful for both technical and coordination works at the age of 28 in 2018. Additionally, I also would like to inform you that my company, Dostlar, also gave me another responsibility recently, which is the Kızılırmak Basin Drought Management Plan project, because of my successful performance in Antalya and Burdur basins. So the contract will be signed next week. With 82,000 kilometers squares, it is the second largest basin in Turkey, which is a very hard project. because of that. So I also, again, work as a team leader in this project, and also I will be responsible for project coordination and technical aspects. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me.
Thank you very much, Mustafa Kemal. Thank you for this very interesting presentation. If there are no further questions, I don't see anything in the chat.
I also can't see any questions. Please do not hesitate to ask me. Thank you very much.
I'll wait a few seconds. Maybe there are still some questions coming in. But while we wait for the questions, I will already leave the floor to our next future leader candidate, which is Juho Lepistö from Finland, who will present to us the tripla mall.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm gonna present you with this tripla mall project. 1 second, I'll share my screen here. Yeah, so yes, my name is Juho Lepistö. I'm currently working as a director of a development project in a company named Granlund in Finland. The project I'm presenting to you here is tripla mall project, which is located in Finland capital Helsinki. Our company Granlund did heating, ventilation, air conditioning, plumbing, energy, sprinkler, and building automation design of this building complex, and so most of the technical design were done by our company. I was myself deeply involved with this project for 5 last years, and my role in this project was to be an HVAC design project manager in the tripla mall area, where I led a team of 25 engineers designing the building simultaneously. As you can maybe see from the pictures, it's actually a bit more than just mall. It's huge multi-function hybrid building, and there's apartment buildings, offices, hotel for over 400 hotel rooms. There's a railway station that was built on top of the active railways, and of course there's a mall and parking lot which are partly located underground. The area of this project is totally 360,000 gross square meters, and the investment cost for this building was 1.2 billion euros, so with the B, quite a lot. And there was some challenges in this project because of its huge scale and large diversity. With this kind of hybrid buildings, there is different functions that overlap with each other, and coordinating those technical solutions with those different functionalities it's quite tough thing to do. And alongside with that, there is only the tripla mall has 250 different tenants in there with their own needs and requests for designing. So a lot of coordination went into the process. Some insights for the technical aspects and the solutions and innovations regarding my own design discipline in this project. As you can see from the picture there, it's the HVAC building information model of this building, and every last bit of this building were 3D modeled with quite high accuracy. And the models were not only made for us designers, but also the contractors in the site were using them daily to install the pipes and ducts and other devices there. And for that, we won a Tekla BIM Awards in 2019. Also, the energy and environment and sustainability played a huge part in this project. And actually, we reached a 51% smaller energy consumption in this building compared to ASHRAE standard level buildings. And with this innovative energy recycling heat pump system with 800 kilowatt heat pumps, we are able to save more than 6,000 megawatt hours per year with which translates to 200,000 euros per year. So that's quite a lot, for at least from my perspective. And also the other sustainability goals were the savings in water use. So we managed to have 40% reduction in water use of this building. Also, we reached the highest certificate in LEED, the platinum level. One most special request about those tenants I want to share with you was this. There was this metro tunnel mined under the Tripla Mall, like 6 stories underground, and in there the tenant wanted us to design an eternal summer there. So there is plus 27 degrees all summer and all winters, and there is indoor surfing and beach volley centers and that sort of things. But yeah, with all of these challenges, I most certainly must tell you that this project was something new for everyone involved in it. And everyone learned a lot in this project. This was the biggest construction project in Finland history ever, if we exclude the nuclear plants we're building currently here in Finland. But of course, we faced some challenges during this kind of process, but we were able to handle each one of them in good cooperation with other design disciplines and our client YIT, who was the builder of this mega project. So the building got ready 1.5 years ahead of its original schedule. So I think all in all, it was quite successful project. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Great, yes, congratulations on this very ambitious and complex project. Are there any questions for Juho? We still have a little time left. I see that there's one hand up. I don't know if that's a question, but you can go ahead and write it in the chat so Juho can see your question. If there are no questions for now, I guess you can still contact him via mail and he will be happy to answer your questions. Oh, there is one question for Mustafa, I think. Maybe we'll have some time left at the end of the presentations and we will come back to that question. Let's go now to the Netherlands with one project from Jordy Vos. Thank you very much, Juho. With one project from Jordy Vos, he will present the Integrated Building Information System. Jordy, the floor is yours.
Right. Let me share my screen so everyone can see my slides. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Right. Great. So thanks a lot for the invitation. My name is Jordy Vos. My goal is to make the engineering and construction industry a more sustainable and cost-effective industry by going digital. And I'm going to show you one of my key projects that I'm currently leading that really contributes to this. I'm working for Witte Veen & Bos. Witte Veen & Bos is a Dutch consultancy and engineering firm where I'm working since 6 years. And I'm currently temporarily based in our office in Singapore, where I'm setting up a digital construction team and related innovation projects. I have a background in civil engineering with a specialization in building and construction technology from Eindhoven University in the Netherlands. So as civil engineers, we are responsible for some very impressive accomplishments. For example, stunning skyscrapers, foundational infrastructure on a massive scale. But our industry, as you probably know, is also facing some challenges. We are, for example, responsible for almost 39% of the worldwide CO2 emissions. Our industry has 30% less productivity compared to other industries. But that's a relatively big industry, almost 30% of the world's GDP, making a positive impact in our industry will make a very big positive impact worldwide. Going digital, digitalization and automation is a very big opportunity to improve all of this. And therefore, our integrated building information system is a very important step in this direction. So this is basically a web-based online platform to manage design and construction projects in a completely new way. We are developing this for the Building and Construction Authority in Singapore, who's responsible for almost 80% of the houses in Singapore. It is part of a larger project, which has a total contract value of almost 3 million euro. The overall goal of this platform is to avoid making mistakes in rework during construction, to better keep track of budgets and timelines, and to increase efficiency, such as the productivity and the material usage. And we do this with this platform by managing the design process and the design changes online. We log real-time information of the construction processes to speed up all the data sharing, and we connect to construction equipment of the future, such as a smart tower crane. So how does it look like in practice? We are basically loading a digital version of the building design in our platform, which we are analyzing, and we keep track of changes in this design. We also connect all kinds of information to that building design and the building components, such as the construction schedule, the prefabrication schedule, and the logistics information. And we also connect to all kinds of smart devices on the construction site, such as handheld devices, and smart equipment, which is also under development in the same project by our partners, such as a smart construction crane. We receive from all these devices a lot of information. We also interact with them, and we monitor this information and we visualize it in our platform. And in this way, we are working towards a fully integrated design and construction process that is more cost effective, and it's saving also on time and material usage and material wastage. We have now completed the first phase of this project, which took almost 3 years, which was about the development of this platform. And we are right now starting with the implementation phase, where we are using this platform for a high-rise project that is now starting in Singapore. Through this project, I learned to work across borders with people and stakeholders from all over the world with different backgrounds and different cultures. I also learned to work on multidisciplinary teams that go even beyond typical civil engineering work. Think about, for example, software development, on very innovative and disruptive projects for one of the biggest developers in Singapore. And I also learned to envision new approaches for our industry, and also learned to adopt new approaches to manage these innovation projects, such as Agile. Because I learned on the way that the typical engineering and project management approaches don't work for these very innovative projects. So I hope that through the digitalization of our industry, we keep on attracting young, new and enthusiastic talent to our very exciting industry. And I also hope that because we are full of opportunities in our industry, that can contribute to the further sustainability of our world. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much, Jordi. If there are any questions, let me see in the chat. There are no questions at this point for Jordi, but if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to him personally or write them in the chat, and we will see if we still have some time at the end of the presentations. Thank you, Jordi. We will now move on to a project from Norway. I welcome to the floor Krzysztof Wojslaw, who will present the E16 Randselva Bridge. Krzysztof, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Do you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you, and I can see your screen.
Yes. Hello, my name is Krzysztof Wojslaw, and today I will show you the project that I have been working on for the last 2 years, and it's called E16 Randselva Bridge. It's 634 meters long cantilever bridge with a main span of 200 meters. The bridge is situated near Oslo, and I have been working there as a head of parametric design team at Sweco. During my VDC certification at Stanford University, Martin Fisher said that this bridge is a lighthouse achievement for consulting engineers. And today I will show you the 3 reasons why this project is a game changer for our industry. First of all, this project is the largest project delivered to date without drawings. We call it model-based. And as designers for centuries, we have been delivering drawings to the site. Afterwards, we changed a little bit a way of working, and we have been preparing 3D models However, we still have been flattering the structure to the 2D representation, to the paper, and then requires that reimagining the 3D structure by all the builders. Nowadays, with the use of the newest technology, we can build directly from the 3D model. And this approach ensures that we have better quality of delivered project. We have less collisions, fewer collisions, and fewer errors. More than that, design time is reduced by skipping time-consuming drawings, for example, reinforcement drawings. And in addition to that, we have fewer questions from sites because workers can rotate 3D model and take new sections and views and for better understanding the 3D model. The second reason why this project stands out from the rest is the application of parametric design on the large scale. Almost 70% of this bridge was parametricized, which means that geometry was described by algorithm. And this approach helps with adaptation for all changes, so we can quicker adapt all the changes. Afterwards, we can create our complex geometry. As you can see on the screen, there's plenty of complicated cables at this bridge. The third reason is a collaboration. On this project, we have organized a hackathons together with integrated concurrent engineering. So hackathons are kind of meetings where developers are sitting together in the one room and are working really intensively on a script which automates the processes of design the bridge. So we gather all the parametric design team that work together on the program. On the other side, we have integrated concurrent engineering. This method originates from NASA collaboration session on the mission program. So ICE sessions gather all decision makers, client, contractor, designers at the same place. Design works are conducted simultaneously, which makes it possible to introduce and approve changes during the one session. So this approach, connecting hackathons together with integrated concurrent engineering, helps us to find the most sustainable and optimal solution. So to sum up, new collaboration methods together with parametric design and skipping the drawings without any doubt is a future of engineering and sets standards for the whole industry. That's all for today. If you have any question, please do not hesitate and write to me.
Yes, perfect. Thank you for this wonderful presentation and congratulations on this innovative project. Are there some questions to Jordi? Yes, this will come back for the end. Are there still some questions for Christoph right now? While we wait for the questions, I will already welcome the next speaker, who is also from Norway. Yes, I see there's a question there. Christoph, can you see it?
Let me see.
From Seamus Doyle.
Okay, maybe I would read the question. How did the site team access to the model, and was it learning curve from them too? Yes, for this project, the contractor, the PNC, it was the first project made by them as a model based. So it was like really steep curve for learning too. So at the beginning of the project, we have the learning courses that we learn and we share their experience. As we designers, in 2017, we have delivered 40 bridges without drawings, but on this project, the main span of the bridge was about 20 meters, so it was the small bridges. However, on the many of bridges, we get experience, and now we could learn contractor to build the structures without drawings.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I now welcome to the stage Tor Martin Lystad from Norway, who will present the ferry-free coastal highway route E39.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you, and I can see your screen.
Brilliant, thank you. So the fjord crossing project in Norway is pushing the boundaries for long-span bridges. It is developing bridge concepts and span lengths that has never been built before. My name is Tor Martin Lystad. I have been working with bridges in Norconsult for 8 years, and I'm currently an industrial PhD candidate. Well, actually, I'm defending my thesis later this month, so please wish me luck on that. I've been fortunate to work with many amazing long-span bridges so far in my engineering career, and by looking at this, it's hard not to fall in love with these structures. The Norwegian government is planning to build a ferry-free coastal highway route along the country's west coast. And to achieve this, several wide and deep fjords needs crossing with bridges and tunnels. The fjord crossing project is developing long-span bridge technology for efficient crossing of all these fjords. And the Norwegian Public Roads Administration is managing the project consisting of 2 parallel processes: development through engineering consultant companies and extensive research activity. And I've been so lucky to be part of both branches through my company Norconsult and through my PhD research. Let's take a closer look at the spectacular Bjørnafjord crossing, which is a prioritized connection. The Bjørnafjord is 5 kilometers wide and is as deep as 550 meters. Now, several bridge concepts has been studied for this fjord and evaluated, and the current choice is a curved side-anchored floating bridge with a cable-stayed high bridge in the south end. The west coast of Norway is famous for its rough weather, and the bridge concepts considered in the fjord crossing project are all extremely slender, making dynamic excitation from wind and waves very important. When we are working with groundbreaking structures, new challenges can arise. This is the equation of motion for a dynamic system, or the kid in the swing, if you will. Now the kid in the swing is able to generate an increasing pendulum motion just by moving his legs. Now what he's doing is that he's shifting his center of gravity, or rather he's changing his system parameters in resonance with the pendulum motion. This is what we call parametric excitation. This is a highly nonlinear problem that can cause instability-like behavior of a system. And when developing the curved floating bridge for the Bjørnafjord crossing, parametric excitation was a concern for the stability of the project. We found a way to describe the system as a self-stabilizing problem by utilizing the quadratic viscous damping from pontoon motions. And then the problem changed from being an instability to something we could design for. And this was significant for the progress of the project. Now, I can't leave this opportunity without mentioning my PhD research. NTNU has been monitoring the wind field and dynamic motion of the Hardanger Bridge, which is Norway's longest suspension bridge. And with the current design practice, we would predict the dynamic response as a function of the mean wind velocity as a line in this plot. And then we go out and measure on the real bridge, and this is what we see. PhD project, we have developed methods that can predict the line that is eclipsing the scatter response that we measure in full scale. And we believe that our findings will significantly reduce the uncertainty in design of long-span bridges going forward. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Martin, and congratulations also on this very interesting and innovative project. We will now move on to the Netherlands with Stam Mattijs, who will present the InBeeld project.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me. Okay.
Of course, if there are any questions for Martin, please write them in the chat and we will come back to them if we still have some time afterwards. Yes, maybe we can answer the first question from Martin to Jordi.
Yes.
Question. So can you say a couple of words about the use of agile approach during your project, and do you think that the consulting business should switch to agile form of project management, Jordi?
I was just about to type an answer in the chat, but here it is in person. Yeah, it's a very good question. I think there are a lot of elements from Agile that can be easily adopted in engineering, consultancy, and construction projects. It's really focused on self-organization and self-empowerment, collaboration, quick feedback loops, and all these kind of things. So that can definitely be adopted in the way you organize, for example, your meetings. Other elements might be less suitable to adopt, and that is, for example, about the way projects are planned in Agile, which is very iterative, and you are actually continuously learning from the things you do and adopt your working approach and your planning to that. And that is in a construction project a little bit harder. It would basically mean that during construction or engineering, you change your design or whatever needs to be done because you learn that it is relatively complicated in this way. So yeah, that is the short answer.
Okay, great. Marcin, I hope that was an answer to your question. We will now go back to Stam Mattijs, who will present his project in beeld.
Thank you, Jordi, my colleague, for filling the time. I hope everyone has experienced something like this. Well, I want to present to you I think it's not really a project, but also a product in beeld for stakeholder participation. And to hijack the chat a bit, I would like to invite you to type your biggest challenges regarding stakeholder participation in the chat, and I will continue my presentation. So, yes, I'm hearing someone, so can you? Okay, so I'm Mattijs Stam. I'm an industrial designer working in an engineering company, and I'm currently working as a lead developer of a software team in Bos. And as an industrial designer in an engineering company, it's not a really common position, but I really like it because, well, my main goal is to contribute to a better world by making functional products that people want to use. And engineers mostly like to make projects that work, and something that works and something that people want to use is not really the same most of the time. So in beeld is mainly about stakeholder participation. And to go back, this is how stakeholder participation looked like. Well, of course, before Corona, but also before in beeld. You had a meeting with people who were looking at plans and placing post-its and everything. And in the end, you got the results back to your office. You got a lot of paper, and you had to process that. And it works, but we at Bos thought it could work better. So I created with a software team a website or a web-based project called in beeld. And it's actually really simple. The idea is you have a map with your design of your project, and people can place a response on the map and actually fill in some metadata with their response. And this metadata is provided, or the questionnaire is provided by stakeholder managers in projects. So, and the data at the end is posted and stored in a database and used directly as customer requirements in the project. So as a stakeholder, you can place your remark on the map, and the customer can also respond to your remark, say, okay, well, we will use it in the project or not. So what does in beeld give you? It gives you inclusive participation of stakeholders. More people can participate in a project, but it also gives you data, quantitative feedback. So you can actually demonstrate why the choices you made in your project are good, because, well, you can also show, well, like 80% of the people really like this idea. So, and this also provides you an acceleration in your project, because, well, with support of the stakeholders, you have less holdbacks from procedures and angry participants. So what's next? So the first step we created right now was with in beeld was think along. So you can we present the project and the stakeholder can respond to that. And the next step I'm currently working on is design along. You give your stakeholder a blank canvas and you just ask them, okay, well, how does your neighborhood have to look like, or how do you want your neighborhood to look like? And they can actually design their own environment. And the third step, well, I have no idea how this will look in the project, but it's to decide along. And we want to, as with Van Bos, we want people to be able to actually decide on what their neighborhood is going to look like and which projects should be held in their neighborhood. So that's the next step. So in build is just the first step in the future of stakeholder participation. I think the future of stakeholder participation is inclusive, data-driven, but also community-driven. So people can design their own environment, and we as civil engineers can actually design what they want their environment to look like. So that's a quick introduction of the product I'm working on and developing. So if you have any questions regarding this project or regarding the future of stakeholder management, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Mattijs. Are there still any questions for him? I see that there was one question for Martin, but we do not have the time right now. Perhaps, Martin, you can go ahead and write your answer in the chat. And likewise for Christoph as well. I suggest that you also write all your emails in the chat so we can find you more easily, and yeah, your contact details. Let's now move on to the second part of the webinar. And it is about the Future Leaders Survey results. I welcome to the stage Philip Zinkowitz, who is the Vice Chair here at EFCA Future Leaders Steering Committee, and he is working as a structural engineer in Swanton Consulting and doing his master's degree studies in earthquake engineering with disaster management at University College of London. Yes, Philip, welcome to the stage. The floor is yours.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Filip Zinkowicz, and I would like to present you briefly the results of the survey on needs and conditions of young professionals Europe-wide. The aim of the survey was to examine the satisfaction of young professionals in the market in areas such as job satisfactions, workplace environment, time management, and personal development. Taking advantage of the topic of our webinar, we would also examine the approach of young professionals to the topic of sustainable development and circular economy. Survey results are based on responses from 45 participants from 10 European countries. Most of respondents represent construction of buildings and infrastructure sector and work on mid to senior level positions. The vast majority of surveyed employees work in line with their qualifications, identify with the values of their company, and are well connected with their colleagues. But despite strong identification with their teams, most people see organizational problems in the teams at the management level. About half of respondents declared a lack of equality and constructive feedback from their managers. The most of respondents have enough time to fulfill their duties. However, only 7% are saying that they do not work overtime, and 60% declared feeling overloaded with their responsibilities. The vast majority of respondents practice personal development on their own or through employers' development programs. However, only half of them have a clearly defined development path. They probably require more advice and guidance from their supervisors. The respondents with one mind perceive the value of their work and mostly feel appreciated by the supervisors, but only half would choose their current profession again without hesitation. Most of the respondents believe that their salary is adequate to the market conditions, and over 60% see an opportunity to increase it in the coming years. More than half of surveyed young professionals consider working abroad, but the salary is not the main reason. Most consider it as an opportunity to further professional development. The predominant factors that potentially encourage young professionals to change their jobs are development opportunities, earnings, higher positions, and flexible hours of working. The pandemic undoubtedly affected every industry, which could have negative impact on young employee satisfaction. Most of the companies in which respondents work experience negative effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, over 85% of them retain their jobs. Some of the surveyed employees recorded a decrease in their productivity while working remotely, but not below satisfactory level. Vast majority of surveyed employees are familiar with the concept of sustainable development. Their employers use or plan to implement sustainable practices. However, still over 50% of employers do not support sustainable commuting to their workplaces. Over 85% of respondents believe that remaining competitive in the market is possible by applying sustainable practices. However, only 30% of employees take the initiative to implement sustainable methods that have been approved by the supervisors. Most of the respondents indicate that sustainable development of the organization is an important factor which may decide about their job changing. Almost all respondents have at least basic understanding of the circular economy and believe that it can be realized in both business and private sector. Only about 30% of surveyed employees declare the use of the circular economy concept in their organizations and take into account at the stage of early planning stage. Most of the respondents indicate the sustainable development of their organization as an important factor deciding about taking jobs. Thank you a lot for your attention. Detailed survey results will be published on our EFCA Future Leaders LinkedIn page. And in case of any questions, please feel free to contact us on our email. Thank you.
So next we will move to the third part of the webinar. And there we will continue the circular economy topic that I mentioned already in the beginning, and that was also referred in the Future Leaders survey. And we will now have two speakers coming to the stage, and they will have their presentations, one after another. And after the presentations, we will have a short discussion with both of them, and during that we will try to answer to as many of the questions as possible that can be, and you can ask the questions by the chat. So next to the stage, Engin Koç. He is working as a project manager at GTE Sustainability and Energy Consultancy. He holds both undergraduate and graduate masters in science degrees from Environmental Engineering Department of Middle East Technical University in Ankara, and also has been registered to the doctorate program of the same department since September 2016, and working on circular economy under academic perspective. He works as a project manager in the areas of carbon trade, carbon and water footprint, secure efficiency and sustainable production for various industries, as circular economy, sustainable and smart cities, and climate change adaptation. So welcome to the stage, Anyikoy.
Hi everyone, could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. First of all, I would like to thank to the EFCA family for this kind invitation and for giving me a chance to present on this platform today. And I'm going to give you a presentation on circular economy concept, and I will be giving some examples. Now I'm sharing my presentation. Could everyone see the presentation?
4497784.
Yes.
See the slide? Okay. Okay. As I stated, today's topic is on circular economy concept and its interpretation process in Turkey. As a starting point, we will do a brief explanation on circular economy, then milestones of circular economy in both EU and Turkey, then some practices we will talk about in Turkey on circular economy, then we will give a brief explanation on future potential in Turkey on circular economy concept, but at a starting point, I will give just a short presentation of GT, our company. GT has a extensive local and interdisciplinary experience on climate change, mitigation, adaptation, and risk assessment studies, and also we will do water treatment and efficiency assessments studies. Also, our another working topic is circular economy, industrial symbiosis, and cleaner production projects, and we involved nearly all the projects, this kind of projects in Turkey. So we believe the potential of necessity of circular economy and symbiotic industrial relationships, and we always look issues through this lens. In this kind, we are open for any corporations, and we accomplished many projects on circular economy, industrial symbiosis, funded by World Bank Group and European Bank of Reconstruction and Development till today. So let's start with the conceptual definition. Circular economy actually has a strong relationship with waste management. In a two-way, we can divide the waste management. First one is recycle and reuse of wastes, and also used as a raw material, the waste, for the production of another product after physical and chemical pretreatment applications, if necessary. We see a linear economy and circular economy diagrams in this slide to understand the difference clearly. In a circular economy diagram, we see that both raw materials and recyclings into the production process against. Actually, we also have another concept, reuse economy, in literature, and the main difference between reuse economy and circular economy is in circular economy approach, we don't want any non-recyclable waste at the ends, which end up with reuse economy approach. And also we have many related concepts with circular economy. One of them we just mentioned about it, reuse economy, and another one is industrial symbiosis. I think many of you related with that topic basically in industrial symbiosis projects. We just search the waste potentials as a secondary raw material in another industry or in the same industry in large industrial zones. And also we have another concept, circular sustainable supply chain management, which is the actual definition of the whole process, not just for the production, but also supply chain and waste disposal and management parts. We make it like that. If we have a life cycle analysis for a product, for a raw material, we can study all the steps through the burning and to the end of life. We called it circular sustainable supply chain management for a raw material or product. And also this is related with circular economy. Actually, circular economy approach may be at the top, and these can be the subtitles. Milestones of circular economy in EU. Actually, in 2015, the European Commission adopted the Circular Economy Action Plan. This action plan mainly focused on municipal solid waste, food waste, construction and demolition selected as priority waste types to deal with, which are highly massive wastes. Then in 2017, the Commission prepared a strategy for plastics, especially in circular economy. And then in 2019 and 2020, the Commission adopted a new circular economy action plans. Within strategies launched from 2015 to 2020, wastes that are high in amount were mostly considered to deal with. During the period between 15 and 2019, 54 sector-specified actions and monitoring framework and indicators were delivered and developed by the Commission. And then in 11 March of 2020, the EU adopted a new circular action plan on batteries and vehicles, textile, electronics and ICT and construction and buildings. What about milestones of circular economy in Turkey? Actually, to encourage the companies to reduce the waste, in 2015, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development launched a near zero waste program consisting end of waste framework, and the starting point actually is here for Turkey. And then establishment of Turkey Material Marketplace, which is an also EBRD initiative. First kind of its kind of business marketplace in Turkey, built the concept on circular economy. Then cooperation between TMM and near zero waste led to end of waste program to outperform really its planned targets. As of 2019, it has achieved annual direct and indirect savings of 5,100 tons of carbon dioxide per annum. And now we will go on with some practice examples on circular economy concepts, which were done by GT in Turkey. This is a slide from Eskişehir. Eskişehir is a city in Turkey. We accomplished industrial symbiosis project in this city 3 years ago. And Eskişehir has a very large industrial, organized industrial zone area, and including maybe 800 companies inside it. First of all, we collect the data from stakeholders and analyze it, and then try to figure out the potential cooperation between waste as secondary raw product in the companies serving in the organized industrial zone. And actually, we investigated the 71 participants representing 42 different institutions and companies with their waste as secondary raw material as high potential. And then we focus on the 5 opportunities as industrial symbiosis to do a brief technical analysis. And then we just figure out that relationship. That relationship actually a very complex relationship, and this relationship show us the possible waste change between the companies in the industrial zone. And by doing this and sharing with this in the organized industrial zone management, companies had a chance to cooperate between each others as a secondary raw material usage of waste instead of raw material usage. And we also conclude that the benefits we see raw material savings and also energy savings, carbon dioxide emission reductions, and cost savings by if the industrial symbiosis opportunities implemented in that organized industrial zone. And most of the payback period is just smaller than 1 year in these applications. And another example is an R&D example in Turkey also. Name of the project was investigating the potential for using the waste iron powder from metal processing in biogas plant for hydrogen sulfide removal. Actually, in this project, the waste iron is caused from the metal industry, and we just search for the usage of this waste iron powder as an input in a anaerobic digester in a biogas plant to upgrade the efficiency, and we have really good results, and we shared these results both renewable energy and metal industry stakeholders. And from 2018 they start to implement these results in the pilot scale studies. Another example is utilization of metal etching waste for production of high-value coagulation agents. Actually, at that project, metal etching waste is caused from the packaging material industry, and these are toxic waste. And we try to develop a way that if we do some chemical and physical retreatment options, and if they will be implemented, then these metal etching waste could be used, especially in wastewater treatment plants, in domestic, especially wastewater treatment plants, as a coagulation agent. In this project also we have very good laboratory results, and the companies decided to implement the pilot phases of this investigation. And what about future potential in Turkey? Actually, circular economy and related concepts has a very good potential in Turkey, since the growth countries where Turkey can be assessed under this profile as are stated as responsible for nearly 47 of global emissions and 51 of global resource extraction from a consumption perspective. Hence, additionally, the vast majority, nearly 70% of the greenhouse gas emissions are associated with material processing and use, and also energy policies alone will not be enough to reduce emissions, and the critical role of circular economy is just could be focusing on that. If we use the circular economy approach, it is possible to reduce the global greenhouse gas emissions in growing countries, especially by 39, and raw material usage can be reduced by 28%. So this is I think the future potential of especially in growing countries on circular economy concept. And thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I will be pleased to answer.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now correctly? Okay, thank you, Rita, for stepping in. If my microphone bugs again, Rita counts on you to step in again. So now we'll move on to the second speaker, which is Mina Tonti, who will also talk about the circular economy. Mrs. Mina Tonti has worked 4 years as an environmental consultant at EFRI, and she has experience in engineering and consulting for over 6 years in total. She has studied sustainable development and bioeconomy business development in the HAMK University of Applied Sciences. And Mina has worked as a project manager in various types of consultancy assignments in several sectors, focusing mainly in waste management and energy-related issues. She has also led and participated in several municipal, regional and corporate roadmaps and reports on circular economy. Mrs. Tonti has worked as an owner of environmental policy at POR PLC in 2017 till 2019. Welcome to the stage, Mina Tonti.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, I can hear you well.
So I will share my screen and the presentation, just a few minutes, for a few seconds. Yes, so I hope you see my presentation now. So thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to give an insight on what we have been doing at EFRI. And here we have a very interesting question that we dug into in a project last year within EFRI. And the question of how to overcome the obstacles of circular economy is a very good question. and our project last year was very much studying this issue and what we can bring to this at this table. So my name is Minna Tontti, and as you can see, I work currently as the account manager at Environmental Services in AFRY Finland, and also work, of course, as a consultant and project manager. So here you can see the brief shortage of the info of the project that we did last year. So this was a small study in which we researched and analyzed case examples of circular economy at a regional level. And the client, as you can see, was the Regional Council of Southwest Finland. And the study included 7 cases of circular economy examples that were in Finland and of course also abroad. The target group for this study that we did was, of course, the client, but from the client also to municipalities that are within this region of area, and also other, for example, procurement units that could use the information, what is possible within circular economy in construction, what kind of good examples can we give and give information about. We had a multidisciplinary team in this project, so we had a very large wide of different experts that we used in this project. On the right-hand side, you can see kind of the framework, how we study these case examples. So we chose case examples, of course, based on the characteristics that we have in this area. So what are the, for example, building stock, population, etc. in the area of Southwest Finland, and what are the good examples and how they implement circular economy. This on the right-hand side is a framework that was priorly presented by McKinsey Company and Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is called the Resolve Framework. So we studied these 6 areas, and as you can see, different kind of elements. What could be used in the case example, and how they are most potential in terms of impact. And of course, the aim of the study was to identify the case examples that would be most potential for this area of Southwest Finland, and how they are most scalable also in terms impact and the scalability. Yes, and the study that we did, of course, was a qualitative assessment. So the no actual kind of cost, for example, cost assessment or such were included, but the aim was to study and give information to these targets. So why we did this study, of course, you can see here that the construction industry is a big part of big part of the GHG emissions, and also a big part of the solution that we give towards climate change. And of course, these other elements, we use very much materials in construction, energy, and so on, as you all very well must know. So brief conclusions. You can find our report of this study in the client's webpage. I don't have a link here, but I will give it to you in the chat if you want to look. Unfortunately, the study the report is in Finnish, but you can see the case examples that we selected for this area. And here, what I brought to this slide, you can see there's a linear picture below, which is not actually a very good example of circular economy, but this was done because of a presentation wise. So these are the kind of steps along the development of a construction project, depending on, of course, the type of building, for example. So the conclusions, mainly what we brought was information, of course, in this project, but it will also give encouragement and encouragement to do the comparisons between contemporary and the new solutions for these procurement units and for the municipalities. So our study actually got very nice feedback from these target groups, and they've started developing discussions between the different stakeholders and different partners for further in the municipalities. So the conclusion, of course, that we need more information about these issues. What are the good examples that we can use? Also take in consideration of the circumstances in each area, but the most important is that the principles of circular economy and principles on how to reduce the environmental impact, they apply in everything. It's just about we do the work, sort of. So we had nice feedback, and I don't yet know what is going to be implemented actually in these areas, but we believe that given the information, what is possible, it will also further have an impact on these target groups, that they will continue the discussion and proceed with comparisons of circular economy elements in building and designing. So here we have, as AFRY, developed these principles on how to develop and how we want to impact in future cities. And this is a very important part of why we also were part of this study, and what AFRY is wanting to continue in different areas of our expertise and the countries that we work currently. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that whether you have detailed questions, I will be happy to answer at this stage, or any other, you can also contact me later if you want. So thank you for this, and any questions, please go ahead.
Yes, we will now have a panel discussion with you, Mina, Engin, and Rita as well. If there are some questions, don't hesitate to ask them. I leave the floor to Rita. I believe there's already one question from Mustafa Kemal Türkeri. Rita, I don't know if you can see the question, otherwise I will read it out to you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you both, Engin and Minna, for the very good presentations and interesting examples that you provided here. I think we can start with the question already in the chat that is asked for Engin. So did you also evaluate the water uses and innovative systems for water saving applications such as grey water use and usage of treated wastewater concept?
Could you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Mr. Türkeri, for these nice questions. I will answer them now. The first question, do you also evaluate the water use of innovative systems, grey water, especially, and treated wastewater concepts? Yeah, we do many projects, especially in textile industry. In textile industry, we assess the both process and wastewater treatment plant, wastewater treatment units of the textile factories, and try to figure out that in which point we could use the grey water directly, or we could use grey water with a little not so costly options with as a pre-treatment. And this is the answer of the first question. And also we did some projects also for the glass industry, for the usage of grey water directly or with a little bit pre-treatment options. And second question is EU Water Framework Directive. We didn't assess this directive in any of our projects. I think maybe this directive mostly related with the river basin management, and our project is mostly focused on the boundaries of the company or boundaries of an organized industrial zone, instead a river basin.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. I personally do have a question also to Minna. I recognize in your presentation on the last slide, there were the second point, the huge similarities with the presentation that Mattijs just also gave at the beginning of the webinar. So that you should include citizens in the development. Do you have, what kind of ways do you have for including the citizens to the projects and to the development at the moment?
A very good question. I noticed a very much similarity, and actually what I've experienced in different kind of development issues regarding if it's circular economy or climate change related, there are very much similarities on what we need to do in terms of cooperation with the different parties, and also, as I highlighted, the information that is important that we give away and to receive and to utilize and to work together to solve these issues. I know, to your question, we have similar types of tools also used in Finland in projects where we do the stakeholder engagement and to have feedback from for example, for the citizens and what we do to reduce the environmental impact.
Thank you. I noticed also that both of your projects, well, Minna's project was a little bit more recent than the examples that Engin was providing to us, but maybe more of a general question for both of you, that have you been able to see any increase in demand for a circular economy type of projects lately, or has it been on a similar level also during the past 3 years, for example?
Yes, of course. For Turkey, I said that yes, exactly for that question, because Turkey is a growing up country and there are many opportunities in this country. Many of the firms, especially working on the industrial zone areas, try to figure out how can they reduce the carbon dioxide emissions and also how can they reduce the raw material usage, because they try to develop their cases for the how can I say, the future comings of Paris agreements. They try to deal with that.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you want to continue, Minna?
Yes, I also agree. We've noticed very much increase in the demand of circular economy expertise in projects and in terms of studies and consultancy works and engineering work. We've done very much for especially in the municipalities and regional areas and such. So we've noticed that is the place where things sort of happen. That is how we can move forward to from the local point of view and how the cities work.
Yes, thank you. Then I do have one more question to at least one more question to Engin. Let's see how far we can go within the time limitations. But do you see that do circular economy analysis have relationships with the life cycle analysis that I think you are familiar with?
Yes, actually, life cycle analysis show us that the difference between the environmental footprints between the linear economy and circular economy. Actually, this is a very scientific and deep approach to do. Maybe we could not have a chance to that approach in industry because the time limitation and cost of these processes. But if we want to see the real environmental footprint difference between linear and circular economy studies, we need to, I believe in that, we need to do life cycle analysis also, is on those kind of projects. And there are some free databases, both for the process database and impact factor databases released by EU in 2018 to use to do this kind of analysis freely.
Yes. Okay. I think do we have any? I haven't been able to follow the chat. Do we have any additional questions at the moment and please don't hesitate to ask also others from the speakers. At the moment, we don't have any further questions, but I maybe to wrap up a little bit, is there anything you would still like to add, Minna and Engin, to sum up a little bit your work with the circular economy at the end of? How do you see the future potential of our current work, for example?
Well, I could add something which also links to Engin's presentation, which is the need for the information has increased, but also we are beginning to have tools to analyze the circular economy impact. So which he also gave examples of. So we are developing tools at AFRY also to help our clients to analyze what's their impact and what they can do better. But in terms of what in construction or any other business or companies, the main thing for the future, I think, is to know how to incorporate circular economy in the business strategy, and that is something that everyone should also think about. Also included that personally everyone should think about.
Thank you, Minna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engin and Minna. Unfortunately, we are
out of time.
Out of time, exactly. Highly appreciate that you came and had the presentation today and shared your knowledge also with all of us. To the end. And now I think we can move forward.
Yes. So to close this, there is still one word of closing remarks or closing speech from our EFCA president. I welcome to the stage Benoît Clocheret, who is the CEO of Artelia, a leading independent consulting, engineering and project management firm in the industry, which is active in the building, water, infrastructure, transport and energy sector. Benoît, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Aurélie. What a fantastic session we had over the past hour and a half. I think we could not dream of a better kickoff for this EFCA week. And I'm extremely proud of all you presented this morning. And if you may, so we were about 60 participating to this webinar and this morning. And I would like to thank you all and also share a few special thanks to some participants. Thanks to Jan, Anne, Virginie, and Sofia from the EFCA Secretariat. I saw we also had many board members, including Kevin Rodden, our past president. Thank you, Kevin. And also Italo Goizueta, the operations director of FIDIC, who also actively participated this morning. And I think it's extremely nice to see that. I also wanted to extend my special thanks to the jury members of the competition. So Nikola Matic, Jacqueline Agier, Marcin Mikuliewicz, who is also the board liaison of the Future Leaders, and I know he spends a lot of time, dedicates a lot of time in this task, and he's a former Future Leader himself, part of that group. And also thanks to Thomas Johansson. Being a jury member is not an easy task. It's a lot of effort, and you want to do that with professionalism and fairness. It takes a lot of expertise and insight and coordination and dialogue within the jury. So thank you to all of you as well. I also would like to highlight the excellent presentation from Engin and Mina. To hear about sustainable development, about the circular economy. It's really to the point with regards to the European agenda. And EFCA is focused on European activities, on its relationship with the EU, with the European institutions. And I think it's at the core of the challenges that we are all running through in Europe, and also in direct relation with this newly created committee of EFCA, which is the New Green Deal Committee. And I think there is here a lot of ground for further dialogue and work together and connection between the future leaders and this New Green Deal Committee. And also, of course, I would like to thank you, especially Philippe and Rita and Aurélie, for your excellent leadership in this sequence that we had this morning. It was extremely well prepared, conducted. With a lot of pace and life. This type of presentation can be excellent or can be very boring. So there is you took the risk of organizing it, leading it, and I think it's a big success. So I think you deserve a round of applause from everybody, even if you are muted, but you deserve that.
Thank you very much, Benoît.
And if you may, I would like, maybe Jan, you would like to say a few words?
I'm going to unmute. Well, stunning projects again, year after year. I mean, we've blown out of our socks, and when you see the progress that is being made and the digitalization. Many people talk about digitalization nowadays. Now we see it how it is how it translates into practice. So it was wonderful. Also, the interaction between the future leaders, I think, is something for the future. There is more and more multidisciplinarity across Europe. there is more and more mobility across Europe. So I think we should take advantage of this platform and further nourish it. So I would say move in the same direction, and so let's continue the good work. I'm really curious to know who will win this competition this year, because as Benoit was mentioning, it's so difficult to come up with a fair and professional result, and I can imagine that the jury had a very tough time in order to assess all these wonderful projects. So I would like to thank you all on behalf of EFCA and for your good work and hard work, especially over the last months. And so I see that we're running over time, so I'm going to conclude, or perhaps a final word by Benoit. But thank you all so much, and I hope to see you. Please join us also on Friday when we have our roundtable on the new plans for Europe, on the recovery and resilience facility. There are many investments that go hand in hand with those projects and programs. So join us on Friday as well. And once again, thank you for your very constructive contributions. Thank you. Benoit?
Yes, so just if you can take 2 more minutes, and then I leave the floor to Rita for the final words as chair of the Future Leaders. Yes, I was also very much impressed by the variety of projects that you presented, the ambition of all these projects, the high level of innovation that is in many of them. And I think it's also, it was very pleasant to hear, very inspiring. And it was not only projects, there were also method approaches. And I think it also sheds a very positive light on our industry and the future of our industry, because it shows its diversity. We push the boundaries. There is always something new to invent, new methods, new tools, and the capacity of that we have in developing our business is immense. So it's also very energizing to listen to all of that. And also the two presentations from Mina and Engin shows also all that needs to be done also in the future. There is a lot to do in the future, and that's also very encouraging. And to finish with a few words on the Future Leaders Group, it's the developing the Future Leaders Group is on the top of the agenda of the board of directors of EFCA. We are very proud to see what happened this morning with this event, but we know that there is still a lot to do and a lot to develop. So we also count on you as ambassadors of the Future Leaders. We want to really create a European network of young leaders in our industry, and with a combination of two things: developing your own program, the topics that you want to promote, and I think the survey that you run needs and deserves a little more work to try to capture the main messages, and those messages to be also shared with the board of directors and the secretariat of EFCA to feed the dialogue among ourselves. So you have to develop your own programs and projects within the Future Leaders Group, but also, and that's also something we made progress on this year, to be true contributors to the task forces and committees of EFCA. We need your insight, we need your innovative approaches on these work groups. And some of you now participate as full members of committees of EFCA, and I think it's extremely positive. We need to continue along that path, and I count on your commitment on all this. So thank you again very much for this morning. It was extremely inspiring, energizing, fantastic. As I said, a very good kickoff for this EFCA week, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon and seeing you soon in the future. And I leave the final words to the chair, to Rita Kujala. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Benoit, and thank you also, Jan, for the words. We are running over time already, but just to sum up a little bit, so I was very happy to see all the ambitious projects where the digitalization and smart solutions enabled sustainable and time and cost-effective execution of the projects today. I think all the projects that were presented today had those elements in them. And I do want to encourage you all to open your mouth for new good ways of working, as we also saw today. Be brave to say your own opinion also, because those are maybe the best solutions for the future. Thank you very much for today. I think we can end here for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much all. Have an amazing day and a great week. See you on Friday.